Welcome to part 2 in our series. It's called The Sales Process. You know, you can go to any bookstore, large or small, and look through the section that talks about selling, and there'll be literally hundreds, and in some cases, if you go online, thousands of books on selling. And they'll all give you their nuances on what selling is. Selling is only 5 steps. It's, hi, how you doing? What do you want? Here it is. Buy it. Thank you. Now, I've obviously simplified that. There are nuances to each one of these steps, and I'm sure each book will go into those nuances. The one thing I want to hit home is there is a science to selling, which are the 5 steps, and there's also the art of selling. The art of selling involves personality and applying a certain amount of personality or a certain amount of activity in each one of these steps based on what's happening, what's occurring in front of you. Each customer is different with different needs. Therefore, you have to be somewhat improvisational. Now, what I want to do is go through each of the 5 steps quickly and then go through some of the nuances that you need to bring to bear when it comes to the art of selling. Now, the first one is hi. Now, it's also known as the greeting and acknowledging. It's the part where you engage your customer for that first moment. Remember, first impressions are the most important. I know some people that like to put a time limit. Please say hi in the first 30 seconds. I think that's wrong, because what happens if it's 31 seconds? That means you're non-compliant. I also know organizations that like to have non-business related lines. So something that has nothing to do with business, with the idea that if I don't say, hey, can I help you? And say something else that has nothing to do with business, that you're more likely to be engaged, more likely to buy, breaks down your wall. But I find that people do that really wrong. They'll say, hey, shirt, great shirt, where'd you get it? Great baby, where'd you get it? And they sound ridiculous. They don't make sense. I like authenticity. I like genuineness. I would rather someone say, hey, how you doing? What brings you in today? So think about that. That's where does your art play in the greeting? Next is, what questions do you ask? I call this the discovery phase. This is the part where you're getting to know the customer's needs, wants, and desires. These are the questions that allow you to get to know their lifestyle, which is incredibly important because sales is more of a relationship than it is a process. And your art should be to really pay attention and to listen to what the people, what your customers are saying when they offer up information. For instance, what if someone says, I just got back from Jamaica and I know I need a new device? Are you the salesperson that says, well, what kind of device do you want? We have a lot of different devices. Do you need a device? You've missed a very important part of creating a relationship. They brought up Jamaica. My first question would be, how was Jamaica? I'd get to the device. I just wouldn't start there. Now, the third step is, here it is. Now, here it is very different because here it is could be a number of things. It could be putting the widget in their hand or having them touch it, feel it, play with it, just describing certain things, but have them do it. That way there's more ownership, psychological ownership in the device. I would also have I would have them try out other things, ask them questions about other needs they may have. This is the adding on aspect of the third step. Could be upgrading to a new device, or maybe it's bridging to something completely different. It needs to sound natural. So again, this goes back to that art of selling and less a science of selling. The fourth part is closing. Now, closing could be a lot of different ways, and everyone likes their certain closing technique. It could be the direct close, like are you going to buy it, or the promotional close, which means if you don't get it today, unfortunately I can't offer you the same rebate or what have you, or it could be the assumptive close, where you just start ringing it up. There's so many different closing techniques, and all of them will fit based on the context of the situation, or others will fit better based on the situation. And the last is simply thank you. And thanking you is very important. There's a study done. One of the 2 most important words that a customer wants to hear, what anyone wants to hear for that matter, that's thank you. Thank you for coming in. This is also where you could ask for referrals. So to recap, ask your team and brainstorm with your team and observe your team and their 5 steps. And especially not just the science, but more importantly, their art in saying hi, what do you want, or the discovery phase, here it is, or the building of the sale, closing it, and then the thank you. You'll find if you pay attention to these and you apply more of the art than the science, it'll have a huge impact on your bottom line.